What is up, everybody? It's Steve Breach coming to you here today. Much apologies. I just left the dentist. I've got a mouthful of Novocaine as we're making this video here. But I made a video probably about a few weeks ago talking about the fact that WWE, they hadn't sold tickets to the WWE Hall of Fame. They hadn't really announced anybody that was going to be going into the Hall of Fame. I thought maybe the Hall of Fame would be going on some sort of like a hiatus, where basically they were going to be stepping aside and maybe collecting a bigger pool of names to be able to be putting guys into the Hall of Fame rather than just putting guys in there that really didn't deserve it. I ended up coming with a list of names that I thought maybe could have added to the WWE Hall of Fame. Batista, Demolition, Victoria, Lex Luger, Psycho Sid. Those are the names that really I thought of that really could help the Hall of Fame for this class. But WWE, it seems they're going to be taping the WWE Hall of Fame on the Go Home episode of SmackDown. I'm thinking that'll be filmed in the Los Angeles area, since that happens on Friday, and then WrestleMania ends up happening the next day on Saturday. But it's going to be a 2-for-1 show, where basically they're just going to be filming the Hall of Fame right after SmackDown. Maybe that means they'll be using the ring, much like they did when the Hart Foundation went in the Hall of Fame. I guess that would be 35 in New York. I remember that's the one where the fan jumped the barricade and ran after and attacked Bret Hart for that split second before a lot of the wrestlers getting some shots in on the fan. That I don't think it ever really came out why he did what he did. You know, the first nominee that is going to be named for the Hall of Fame is the Great Muta. This one, honestly, is a little bit of a surprise, because the Great Muta has never worked with WWE, for WWE. They worked together at the very end. Shinsuke Nakamura went over and wrestled an event around New Year's, where it was Nakamura against Muta, and I think days later, TNA sent Darby Allin and Sting over for a last match, which might end up being the Great Muta's last match. And people said that match went off, honestly, really well. Sting going over there is probably, when it comes to the Great Muta, one of the most known feuds that he had. That was the first time that I ever really noticed who he was. I'll tell you that when it comes to the Great Muta, what I know about him more than anything else is probably a year of him working for WCW, where he had feuds with Ric Flair. He had feuds with Sting, Lex Luger. That's probably what I know him for the most. I know that he captured it was the NWA at the time, wasn't it? Because it was the WCW Power Hour. I don't think that Turner had bought it and actually named it World Championship Wrestling. I think it was just the NWA having the TV show at the time. And then, of course, once the NWO got rolling and they needed more names, they had the NWO Japan, which would come over and make appearances on WCW Nitro, WCW Thunder. Muta would come for those every once in a while, a part of their talent trading that they would do, where a lot of times, like, they would send Scott Norton, Sting, Buff Bagwell, the NWO Sting, over to wrestle for Japan, and then they would send their names over. But most of the time, they were never brought over as being main event talent. I think they treated the NWO like they were a big deal over there, because NWO Japan was such a big deal, their storylines. But it was never like when Chono and the Great Muta came over. They did really anything other than like kind of enhancement matches on Nitro, or just, you know, walked out with the group to show that there was power in numbers. That was really the only thing that I ever really noticed. I don't remember him ever, the Great Muta ever wrestling for the tag titles at the time or the TV title. They just kind of had him to have him. It was basically just about it. But you know, it is well known that he is quite possibly one of the greatest wrestlers in the world, all time. The things that he did, you know, transformed the sport to what we know it as of today. The thing that is coming out as of now is that it seems that the reins are being handed over to Triple H, and he is in charge of inducting the people into the Hall of Fame. He's kind of the guy picking the guys that are going to be going in there. Triple H, I think we all know from you know, the years of watching wrestling, watching him wrestle, the things he took from wrestlers. It was on the documentary that came out roughly well over 10 years ago. I know it's on DVD and Blu-ray, so it means that probably came out before like 2012, 2013. I know it starts with Thy, T-H-Y, but I don't remember the whole name of it. But, you know, it shows him hitting moves, and showing it directly at the same time, like him hitting the spine buster with Arn Anderson, where he just kind of, like, you know, was taking things from people. He did the same move and started Harley Race and things like that. But I think Triple H, you know, putting the guys that he knows that he's going to be in there means that, you know, the WWE Hall of Fame is in good hands, and we should be getting some names that we, you know, deserve to have. And then we should also be getting some names that you're kind of like, oh, I guess so. Sometimes when Vince would put in, especially the legendary wrestlers, the ones that they really didn't do on television, they just kind of just ran a graphic for them. Those ones were kind of like up in the air, like, well, I don't know why the hell they're doing this. But I can honestly tell you, as a fan of watching wrestling, I know and I appreciate the Great Muta. I don't think that, you know, I'm the best person to speak on his career, because out of the, you know, tens of thousands of matches that he had over his career, I probably saw less, way less. I would take way the under on 100 of those matches. So I appreciate that he's going in. I think that if I even look through an old clip, I think I made a video roughly 2010 of people that I thought deserved to go into the WWE Hall of Fame. I think the Great Muta was sort of like the guy from Japan that I picked, because they send a lot of like foreign press. They cover it and they hype up Wrestlemania in Japan at the time. So I thought that was the one guy that I thought that would go in from Japan. That was roughly 13 years ago that I thought the Great Muta's career was over enough to be inducted into the Hall of Fame, and he's finally done now. But knowing him, I wouldn't be surprised if he ever got to the ring again. I would think of him like a Ric Flair type, that just, if there's a ring, there's a crowd, and there's money to be made, he's gonna do it. So hats off, Great Muta. Thank you very much. I apologize. Like I said earlier, I just stepped out of the dentist.